Hey, what's going on, everybody? So, you ever been applying for a job and you see something that says, "Are you a protected veteran?" Like, I've seen it, and I thought I knew what it was, but I don't. And I figure if I don't, then other people might not. This might make a good video topic. Anytime I find something I think be beneficial to, people out there, be it, my limited subscriber base or just people in general, I go over. So, what is a protected veteran? Protected veteran is a class of veteran or a type of veteran where you can't be discriminated against because of your military service. That's the basis of what I found. I'll leave a link in the video description going straight to the Department of Labor's website so you can read exactly what it is. But that's what it is. Who is a protected veteran? Are you a protected veteran? Is like mom, dad, your cousin, brother, sister. Like, what are the categories for? And I thought I knew because I was thinking, all right, well, if you're disabled, like if you're of a VA disability rating, those are protected veterans. Well, that's part of the picture. Turns out there are four categories of protected veterans. Obviously, the first one, but not obviously, but the first one is disabled veterans. So that's people with a disability rating. And regardless of what the rating is or what it is, be it physical or not physical or 1% or if it's 100%, if you're disabled, that's disability rating. That's a class of protected veteran. So that's the first one. The second one is other protected veteran, and that's anyone with a campaign ribbon. If you have a campaign ribbon, you know what that is. If you don't, a campaign ribbon is given to you when you're part of an assigned campaign, like if you have efforts in conjunction with it. So like Operation Enduring Freedom, Operation Iraqi Freedom. Those are just two quick examples. I'll leave another thing down below for a list of like relevant or recent campaign ribbons. But if you have one of them, you're also a protected veteran. That is a much larger pool of people than just disabled veterans. And I think that's the one that's going to help a lot of people. The third type is recently separated veterans. So if you've gotten out 3 years after you get your 214, for that 3 year period, you're a protected veteran. So even if you aren't disabled, even if you don't have a campaign ribbon, if you've gotten out in the last 3 years or after 214 for the last 3 years, you're also considered a protected veteran. And the fourth category, and this one, it took me a little minute to kind of understand, just because it's kind of esoteric. It's not something that I haven't seen any of that's I haven't seen any of these. I know people who have it now, but it's not something you come across. And that's people with the Armed Forces Services ribbon. That's a really specific award that you don't see a lot of. And I'll put a link in the description below of campaigns or operations where that was authorized, but it's not common at all. So if you fall into any one of those categories or multiple categories or all of them, you're considered a protected veteran. So you want to check that box so that you don't get discriminated against. And to touch on it briefly, everyone wants to be pro-veteran because nobody wants to be like, yeah, screw veterans. That's not a common thing. What I find is most companies, large or small, project this pro-veteran, facade. But the further on the chain you get, more toward individual managers, they're not always pro-veteran. They're not. Some people let their own personal agenda or opinions affect how they are in the workplace, and that's the reason we have things like this. So just know that there are protection in place. There are resources you can go to. I'm gonna make a video about those protections if you don't know what they are. So in addition to this checkbox, you're a protected veteran, there's also things to help, enforce those protections or educate people or help you if you need it. I made a video about you, Sarah. That's kind of a good watch. No, it is a good watch. It kind of gives you some insight into the things you need to look for because you can see what it is, you can kind of praise yourself for it. But there's USERRA and there's ESGR. I'm gonna make a video comparing the two, but they're kind of like the dynamic duo. Like think about like mom and dad if you got into trouble or need help. But that video is coming soon too. Anyway, protected veteran. Now you know 4 categories. You could be any one of the 4 or all 4. I'm willing to bet most veterans will find like if once you get out, you're a protected veteran. So everybody's going to be at some point. It's just how long will you be? Like if you're disabled, you're always a protected veteran. If you have that campaign ribbon, they're warning expirations. You're always a protected veteran. Same with the Armed Forces Services. So like if you have one of them, you're always a protected veteran. Whereas if you just getting out, you have none of the other categories, it's for 3 years. At least the literature I found didn't have an expiration date. Obviously, I'm not an attorney. I'm not representing anybody or anything. I'm just a guy on the internet trying to give out information to help people. But if you found the video helpful, leave a like. If you have feedback or you have things you want me to touch on or things for me to discuss, leave a comment. I don't have a lot of subscribers. Most comments I read within 24 hours. And if it's something I can make a video about, I'll make a video about it. If I can just respond to you in the comments, I will. If I can't, I won't. If I don't know, I'll tell you I don't know. But I'm just trying to help people one day at a time, one person at a time. And this video is brought to you by nobody. Like, nobody is sponsoring this. Nobody's paying me to do this. This is just me doing this out the goodness of my heart, trying to help people, trying to get back. I saw the need. I saw a void. I'm trying to fill it. But that being said, y'all take it easy. And yeah, man, I'm out.